Hi Vitali, happy Christmas, and yes, here we go. So we're working. Um, Next stream is on Thursday, the 28th of December, which will be at 3:45 p.m. UK time. So it's lovely to be with you all. Hi to Manisco, hi to Vitali, hi to Bogdan. And that's probably it for the moment. Hi, Ginsberg. Lovely to have you, Ginsberg. Thank you. Happy Boxing Day to you too. Okay, so let's get straight into this. I've got two questions left about this article we were doing about the different plastic straws or paper straws. Hi there to Oksana. Lovely to see you here with us. Oh, the numbers just jumped to 13. That looks better. Okay, so which are better, plastic or paper straws? Paste as plain text. Hi, Eugenie. Lovely to have you. So far, it's far from a simple choice. The scientific evidence is blended, various, merged, mixed, depending where you look for the harm to the environment. Okay. Oh, and now it says 24. This looks better. Hi, Patricia. Lovely to have you. Hi, Ronan. Lovely to see you. So, the evidence is blended, various, merged, mixed. The evidence is blended. I think blending, you're just mixing the two together. Mixed for Oksana as well. Is blended in. You see, to blend in means to look like everything else. So blend in, don't stand out, or to be the same as everyone else. So we've got mixed for Vitali, for Bogdan. We've got mixed for Ronan and Oksana. We got mixed for Ginsberg. Manisco says various. Hi there, Marfood. Lovely to have you. And mixed for Patricia. Could evidence be blurred? The evidence is blurred. Yeah. Let's see. I would probably use the word unclear. Yeah, the scientific evidence is unclear. Inconclusive. I'm not blended in, I don't like. Is various. Well, let's see. The scientific is various. No. Good afternoon, VJ. Great to have you. Various evidence. Various pieces of evidence is various. Is merged. To merge is to join two things together. No, it's definitely mixed. Yeah? The evidence is mixed. It's some people in favour of one thing, some people in favour of another. The jury's still out on where you look for the harm in the environment. Yes, yeah, I think that the jury is still out. Or I think what they're saying is that the evidence shows in some areas one is worse, in other areas the other is worse, and that it makes it's pending. No, pending means that we're still waiting to receive it, and we've had evidence, but it's supports some things in some. Supports plastic in some areas and it supports paper in others, so it's unclear. Okay, and this is the last paragraph in this article. Every expert I spoke with said it's instead better to Refuse straws altogether. Exactly. Exhaustively. Purely. Extremely. If you're able to. Then you can sit back and enjoy your drink. There's no conclusive evidence. That's the idea. Okay, there's no conclusive evidence. So, Bogdan goes for completely, which works very nicely, yeah? To refuse straws completely. High Magician, so we've got altogether for Bogdan, altogether for Oksana and Vitali. Completely works as well. Exhaustively, to refuse straws exhaustively. Let's see, exhaustively. I guess it fits, but it's not a very good answer. It is to check something until you've done all of it. Yeah. Is that not a clear-cut case? I like clear-cut. Clear-cut's a very good word, Patricia. Altogether, hi Sharon, definitely. Altogether, yes, Ronan. Okay, altogether for Manisco, altogether for Patricia. Yes, so refuse straws altogether. Yes, and Sid says altogether as well. Exactly, no. Exhaustively. Well, exhaustively would mean every single time you were offered them, which I guess would work, but altogether is better. Is just completely forget about them. Purely or extremely, no. Altogether. Altogether. Okay, so let's go for the next. Ditch straws in one fell swoop. Okay, so now we've got the next article. I think I'm going to have to make it fit. Yes, it fits just. Okay, this next article is about a radio program called War of the Worlds, which was emitted by Orson Welles. I think in the late 30s. Dispense with, not dispense of. I would say dispense with straws altogether. Dispense with straws altogether, yes. So, I'd no idea I'd become a national event. Orson Welles on the mass hysteria of war in the worlds. Of the worlds. Okay. So, this, believe it or not, do without straws. That's the point. That's what they're trying to say. Yeah, is just forget them. And that's the best thing of all. Okay, so here goes. Let's see if this fits. Okay, and new article. On 30th of October, 85 years ago, the population of the US was pursuant, according, heeding, in accord to Orson Welles, overwhelmed by mass panic, terrified by the all-too-real broadcast of his alien invasion drama, The War of the Worlds. Okay, so this is an easy one to start with, yeah, an easy one to warm us up. Pursuant to the rules, pursuant to subsection 43 of the Broadcasting Act. To heed is to listen to take somebody's advice. In accord with, no. So we got according to for Vitali, for Bogdan, for Ronan, for Oksana, for Magician, and for Sharon. Absolutely. According to. Hello, Roland. And The director recounts his version, variant, adaptation, draft of events in an interview from the BBC archive. So, according to for Roland and Ginsberg as well. Okay, the director recounts his version, variant, adaptation, draft of events in an interview from the BBC archive. So, let's see, let's start at the end. A draft. A draft is a document a document where you haven't finished it completely. You need to revise it. So it's not a draft. The chain of events, I guess. Okay, so adaptation. You take a book and you adapt it to the radio. You adapt it to the television. His variant. To me, that sounds like a variant of COVID. Yeah? So, we have, here we go. We've got version from Vitaly, from Oksana, from Bogdan. Okay, according to from Patricia as well. Version from ZWNJ. Great to have you, ZW. Version for Sharon. Version for Roland. Version for Sid. Adaptation of a book. Correct. His evolution. No, because evolution is the way something evolves, the way something changes. Okay, so his okay, version, his interpretation. I like version better. Because normally if two people are present at the same place, they tell account, interpretation. His version. I like version. Is a good word to choose. His version of the story. And it's an incident that has been much referenced in popular culture. The broadcast, 85 years ago today, of Orson Welles' radio drama about a Martian invasion of Earth was so realistic, it is said that it triggered common, widespread, all-inclusive, epidemic panic in the US. Version does imply interpretation. Yes, magician. I think it does imply his interpretation. It's the way the person sees it. Yeah, this is your version of events. Yeah, because normally different people have different versions of events. Okay. So let's see. It triggered common panic. Version widespread. It's version definitely Ronan. Okay, widespread. So widespread for the second one. Hi Manji, lovely to see you. So let's see. We've got widespread for Vitaly, for Bogdan, for Oksana, for Roland, and for Sharon. Widespread for magician. Widespread for Ronan. His take on is quite a good phrase. Okay. Widespread for Manji, widespread for Patricia, triggered widespread for triggered civil panic. Civil panic would work definitely, Bogdan. Widespread panic for Ginsberg as well. So common means ordinary panic. Doesn't work. All-inclusive, yeah, an all-inclusive holiday, an all-inclusive room and board in a hotel, including everything, no. An epidemic's talking about disease. The news spread like wildfire. It became widespread, so widespread panic. Well, that's what as the story goes. Okay, so widespread panic, and indeed, the story of mass hysteria has become so ingrained in media, superstition, adage, stories, folklore, that for decades it wasn't really challenged. Deep-rooted panic. Deep-rooted. Okay, maybe Ginsberg. Deep-rooted means, but I think it is probably for something that lasted for longer. A deep-rooted belief. So people have a deep-rooted belief in their religion, for example. Okay, people have a deep-rooted fear of snakes, perhaps. Okay, so indeed, the story of mass hysteria has become so ingrained in media. Okay, so we got lots of the same answer. Okay, superstition. Superstition is, I don't know, not walking under a ladder. It's not media superstition. Stage superstition, the Scottish play. An adage, yeah, is a proverb. It's something that that people say. A story is something completely different. A building has 3 or 4 stories, different levels. And then folklore. Folklore we've got from Vitali, from Bogdan, from Manji, from Sharon, from Oksana as well. So, yeah, it's part of media folklore. It's the story that people tell. In media law, I like the word law. Law and folklore are very similar things. Media hype. Hype works quite nicely, Ginsberg. I like the word hype. Yeah, they're hyping it, making things bigger than they are in reality. Folklore for Patricia as well. Good. That's good, P. Well done. Okay. Media folklore from Roland as well. Okay. There it goes. But in recent years, historians such as Professor W. Joseph have argued that the supposed panic was always extravagant, exaggerated, sensational, embroidered, and that the majority of listeners understood that the program was a work of fiction. So, historians have argued that the supposed panic was always extravagant, exaggerated, sensational, embroidered. So if it's extravagant, you extravagant spending, extravagant meals, is expensive and more quality than were necessary. Was always sensational. No, sensationalized might have worked. Embroidered is to do with needlework. Exaggerated, to exaggerate, to hype something, to make it bigger, to make it more than it really is. Yeah, people tend to exaggerate. How big was the fish you caught? Oh, it was about that long. No, it's probably about that big. To exaggerate, to say that something is more than it is. And was over-exaggerated from Ginsberg. I like it. So, exaggerated from Vitali, from Bogdan, from Oksana. Exaggerated from Sharon and Roland and Manji and Patricia. And Ginsberg goes over-exaggerated, which I like as well. So, and let's try the next one. Overestimated. Yes, that works quite nicely, Oksana. It was overestimated. It was blown up. It was made to seem bigger than. So, comma after historians. Okay, I'm still looking for this this comma. It's the previous one, isn't it? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm a bit lost with historians. Okay, so hi Rainyard, great to have you. Better late than never, definitely. Okay, so the idea of a nation dropped, dived, plunged, bathed into hysteria was actively pushed by newspapers at the time, who were keen to characterize radio, then an emerging medium, that was a news competitor, as irresponsible and not to be trusted. Okay, let me see if I can find it, ZWG. Okay, yeah, it was about historians saying that it was exaggerated. I'm sorry, said WG. I can't find it at the moment. And I'm getting lost. I've got to go on with this. I'm sorry. So we've got plunged for Vitali, for Oksana, for Bogdan, for Roland. Plunged for Mangier, to plunge, to push into. It was dropped into hysteria. No, to plunge is like to jump into water. Okay. Hi, Black Goose. Great to have you. Okay, plunged into hysteria from Sharon. Plunged into for Patricia. Thrust into hysteria, yes. Plunged into hysteria from Sid. Drummed into. No, but let's see. Ginsberg, to drum into means to teach somebody something. To drum something into somebody. Hello, Manisha. Okay, let's see. I think bathed in hysteria would work. The problem with bathed is it's not as strong as plunged. To plunge into hysteria, it's a very common collocation. Plunged into chaos, plunged into something. It's like, let's see, plunge into, to push very rapidly and suddenly. Bathed is gently washed. So, little could they predict. Can't it be dived? But of a nation dived. So the idea of a nation diving into hysteria, it could be if the grammar was different. The idea of a nation diving into hysteria, I think would. But a nation dived. No, the nation dived. Dived here is acting as an adjective. A nation plunged, put into the water. So it can't be dived. It's got to be this plunged into water, to plunge into a difficult situation. Okay, so bathed, but okay, also notice with this bathed with hysteria. Yeah, but plunged into. Okay. And continue. Yes, dive in the passive. It doesn't work. You can't use dive in the passive. Plunged into recession. Good. Bathed in. That's good as well. Bathed in, not bathed into. Bathed in, not bathed into. I like that, Sharon. Thank you. The nation is drowning in the nationalistic hysteria. Yes, that would definitely work, Rainyard. And Orson Welles, refined, gleamed, shone, burnished the myth himself. Okay. So, yes, he made the myth stronger over countless retellings on talk shows over the years. Okay. So he whipped the country, the idea of a nation whipped into hysteria. I think whipped works, Ginsberg. I'm gonna take whipped. I think it's quite a good word. Okay. So, and Orson Welles refined the myth himself over countless years, gleamed the myth himself, shone the myth himself, burnished the myth himself. To refine is to make something more pure. I have a feeling I'm going to win this one. So, Vitali goes for refined, so does Bogdan, so does Manji, so does Roland, and so does Renyard. To refine the myth. Refine the myth. Patricia likes burnished, so do I, Patricia. I think refined might work, but I like burnished a lot more as well. To burnish is to polish, to make something shine. Vitali's going with burnish as well. Okay, so notice Manisco, something gleams. Yeah? And Oksana says shone. Something shines. A person can't shine the myth. And it can't. So the myth gleamed, the myth shone. But to burnish means to polish, to make shine, to make gleam. And that's why burnished, to make gleam, to make shine, to polish, to make reflective. I think refined probably works, but burnished, to hone the myth. Hone, I think, would work, but burnish. Burnish the myth. You burnish it, you shine it, you make it shinier, so that it looks better. Burnish the myth. Burnish the myth. Okay, and let's continue. Yet they refine crude oil, absolutely. To refine, that's for to refine is to improve purity. Fine margins. Okay. I think burnish sounds better though. Okay, but while it is unclear to what scope, range, area, extent, reach, measure actual panic was caused, certain facts remain. Chiefly that the broadcast demonstrated the early power and potential of radio. germinated. Germinated the myth. But to germinate is to begin from the beginning, Ginsberg. Okay. So, to what we got extent for Vitali and Oksana, extent for Bogdan and Renyard, extent for Ronan. To what degree? Yes, Bogdan. Burnish the image of something to make it shine. Manji goes for extent, so does Sharon, and Black Goose for extent. Range and extent. To what range? To what extent? To what degree? Yeah? To what scope? No, it's extent. To what area? To what extent? To what degree? To what extent for Patricia as well? Okay, so let's try the next one. I had no impression, opinion, belief, idea that I had suddenly become some sort of national event, said Orson Welles. To what extent? Yes, Sid, exactly. Okay, so I had no impression, no opinion, no view, no belief, no idea. Okay, I think this one's quite an easy one. We've got idea for Vitali, we've got idea for Bogdan and Oksana, idea for Manji. I was not aware of the fact that. That's good, Bogdan. Idea for Ronan, idea for Roland. Okay, I had no idea for Sharon, idea for Renyard. Okay, I really didn't know. Okay, so absolutely. Idea for Sid. Black Goose goes for impression. I had no impression. I guess impression works, but idea is a much more common phrase. I think it fits much. But I had no idea that I was suddenly famous. Degree of. Refined suggests a more pragmatic or scientific. Burnish is more ascetic, and pretty flushes. Yes, Patricia, very definitely. Okay, you could refine a theory, but you burnish a piece of poetry. Idea for Patricia for this one as well. Okay, one more, and then I'm going to finish for today. And I had no notion. Yes, Renya, definitely. I had no notion that this was going to happen. The idea crept up on me. Impression's a bit more emotional. I had no impression. Yes, I guessed Black Goose. So, on the evening of 30 October 1938, just before Halloween, Welles, then the director and star of radio drama series The Mercury Theatre on the Air, was running through last-minute recitals, recitations, trials, rehearsals for his innovative new broadcast. Okay, so let's see. We got lots of people for this. Okay, so notice a recital. Normally, Oksana, a recital is normally music, although it could be somebody reading poetry as well. Yeah. Whereas the rehearsals are where you practice a play or a piece of acting. Yeah, actors go through rehearsals. A trial. A trial is normally for a car or a machine or an aeroplane or something like that. Yeah, so you have trials, even horses or dogs. Last minute, so we've got rehearsals for Vitaly, for Bogdan, rehearsals for Manji and Sharon, rehearsals for Oksana, rehearsal for Roland and Ronan and Patricia and Renyard, last minute rehearsal for Sid, music or poetry, or poetry, script reading. Yes, script reading would work. Is the dress rehearsal. Oh no, no problem, Yuri. You can watch the video, but a rehearsal, reading a script reading. Yeah, it's rehearsals. Black Goose, a script reading. Yeah, I think you're probably right, Patricia. Okay. Yeah, Christmas sounds great. So sound checks. Sound checks works, Ginsburg. Was last minute sound checks. I like sound checks. So rehearsals. Last minute rehearsals for his innovative new broadcast. Okay, so I'm going to stop there for today, and we can carry on Thursday. So let's see. Next stream is on Thursday, the 28th of December, Dia de los Inocentes, at 3:45 p.m. UK time. So, next stream is on Thursday, 28th of December at 3:45 UK time. So, thank you all for coming. It's been great having you. So, good morning, Miguel Mosquera. Me parece que estás en las Américas, en América del Sur. So, thank you all for coming. Thank you, Manji. Thank you, Marfu. Thank you, Yuri. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Roland. Thank you, Oksana. Thank you, Manisco. Thank you, Bogdan. Thank you, Ronan. Thank you, Miguel. Thank you, Ginsburg. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Vitaly. Thank you, Black Goose. Thank you to Renyard. And thank you to Sid. And who else? Thank you to Ginsburg. And thank you to Sharon. And thank you, Manji. And well, thank you to all of you for coming. It's been great having you. And thank you to anyone else that I've missed. Thank you, Manji. Thank you, all of you. And Colombia. Thank you, Reynard. Great to have you. So, I hope to see you all on Thursday. Take care and bye for now.